how's it going? It's Grant
and Shelby,
the Garden of Eder, and tonight we're going to be talking about starting up your own business in the aquarium hobby. The little one might be a little hungry, so Shelby might be stepping out here for a little bit and then come back once the baby's fed. But it is our Halloween week, so there will be an appearance later on also. But for now, I've got my Halloween t-shirt on. Shelby's got hers. It's all Halloween themed from Aquashelloween, their t-shirt. I forgot about that one altogether. So
took me a minute to find it.
But before she leaves, basically the first thing that I'm going to be talking about when starting up your own business, at any business, there's always those people that could say, oh, I did it on my own. But like that's a very, very rare occasion. And it goes a long way to have somebody in your corner that supports you. And for me, that was Shelby. And, you know, I've told this story several times here on the stream. It's been a while. I'll give you guys the shortest version I've ever given possible. Is basically I was landscaping. I own my own business, but still being a pale-skinned ginger in Florida, it was not the best gig for me. And I was constantly thinking, what can I do to get out of this? And before I did landscaping full time, I did chameleons and I stumbled across shrimp and I just kind of built it up on the side. And eventually one day I was like, you know what? If I just focused on shrimp keeping full time, sold the landscaping, I think I can make ends meet and pay the bills off. And I was kind of wrong about that. And the first 2 years, you know, a lot of unexpected things, bills increase and stuff like that. And basically, Shelby just ended up picking up an extra job or two or three at times. So
She said no.
But yeah, no, Shelby had a couple part-time jobs, and you know, this wasn't both of our full-time gigs. So she had a full-time job at Subway and then got like a reception job at the same time. And then eventually moved on to West Marine. That was her full-time job. But I still had to make my fair share of the bills and made income happen. But the first 2 years were definitely a little rough. And I've mentioned this before, you know, Shelby stepped up to the plate and supported us. I had originally sold the landscape business and set aside enough money to pay off the bills for like 16 months. But like I said, bills increased and things came up and repairs and stuff like that. So like after the first year, Shelby was like, all right, sales aren't quite where they need to be. And she got a job for, you know, an extra job for like another year or so. So definitely startup can be a little bit rough. Like I said, I built up the landscape business for a while. I was in the sun for maybe, or not the landscape business, the shrimp business while I was doing the landscaping for a while. There was, you know, days where I'd be landscaping and cutting 30 yards. I might have 2 employees with me. But after that, I'd still have to come home. I'd still have to do water changes, feed all the shrimp, cull everything. And well, simply because of all that, my free time and stuff like that was little to none. So the sacrifices that I made were basically, I ended up quitting video games altogether because of it. If you don't use it, you lose it. And my skills and abilities and stuff like that, I just, if you're not the best, I just simply didn't want to play anymore. So it was just one of those things that was kind of what came out of it. It was all the work and grind and everything like that from doing the landscaping and the shrimp keeping. And then when I actually sold the landscape business and was doing the shrimp keeping full time, I did have times where I had a lot more free time to myself, and like I started doing paintballing and a lot of different things. So it wasn't all total grind. Like eventually it did work its way out to where this was a lot easier than the landscaping was pretty much from day one. I'll be honest. As soon as I stopped doing the landscaping, everything else was pretty easy. It was just, you know, being patient, waiting. And like I said, I had Shelby to back me up. So if you don't have the hustle, the constant grind to do it every single day, to do two things at the same time. I mean, unless you have like an inheritance or you won the lottery or something like that, and you have enough money to just put 100 grand into the business, so that way you're making money on day one, then you got to keep two jobs or whatever you got to do to make ends meet and pay the bills. You can't be lazy about it, and definitely having somebody there to support you it definitely helps. For me, it helped because the demand for homebred shrimp was always at a constant high. From day one, we saw on the shrimp spot sales were pretty good, and that's what gave me hope to make this like a full-time job. So I wouldn't just jump full into it either, unless you have some type of sales or some experience or history, something on paper that you can show, hey, I can do this. That definitely helps. Hold on one second. So if you got the funds and you're able to move on and you want to start the business, then basically the first step is figuring out the laws and regulations. Every single state, it varies. For me, I was able to call Fish and Wildlife. I reached out to them and said, hey, this is what I'm looking to do. What kind of permits? What do I have to get? Do I have to have somebody come inspect it, or what all needs to go on in order to make this happen? So they basically walked me through it, told me I needed to fill out this, and went from there. So figuring out your laws and regulations for your area is basically like the first step of starting out your business. You don't want to do something that's illegal for your state. Say if you're in New Jersey, you don't want to start breeding axolotls. That's not going to work out for you. So the next thing you're going to want to get is your business license. Now, this is where I wish Shelby was here because she did do all of this part. We use Sunbiz. I'm not sure if this is just a Florida-wide thing or if every single state has their own type of online business license sign up for their state or whatever. But for Florida, we went on Sunbiz. We got a sole proprietorship. You could also do an LLC, but basically both of those gives us what we need to get a tax ID. Every state is also different with taxes. In Florida, we do have a sales tax. I get people like in Oregon all the time that are like, oh, I'm trying to place an order on your website. There's no sales tax in Oregon. Why am I getting sales tax? And I'm like, well, that's because you're placing an order in Florida. It's not like you're shopping in Oregon. My store isn't in Oregon. It's like you're shopping in Florida, but instead of carrying it home and actually being there in person, I am just shipping it to you. So you got to have your business license to be able to get your tax ID. And then from there, you want to make sure that you're charging sales tax and then putting that away. For us, it started out that every 4 months or every 6 months. I can't remember. It's been so long. But it wasn't every single month until we started, having too many sales a month. And then they, for at least for us in Florida, I've got to pay my sales tax every single month. So we put away that month. We put away the sales tax as we make sales throughout the month. So that way on the 20th or like the 17th through the 20th of every month, the IRS basically pulls that money straight out of my bank account. And then I have to file for it every single month. So I have a really good CPA or an accountant that handles that for me. I just tell them, hey, this is how much sales I made, and then they file that for me. It's only like $30 a month, but it kind of makes things a lot easier for me. And if I forget, they send me an email or two to make sure, hey, you got to get this done by the 16th, so that way it's all said and done, and I don't get in trouble or any extra fines or anything like that. I don't know how the taxes all work and stuff like that. That's why I have the accountant. So just one thing I gotta say is don't mess around with taxes. Make sure you pay your taxes. As a kid growing up, my dad had the same name as his father, so something happened with the taxes with my dad as a kid, and it was just a big headache for like a whole year for my father, and I remember that. So you definitely want to make sure you have all your ducks in a row and that you don't have the government knocking on the door to get their money. So make sure you got your sales tax squared away, definitely. Then from there, I want to start out with a website. These days, I think Shopify is all the rage. I think Square isn't really as beneficial as Shopify. Shopify links up with a bunch of things like YouTube, Facebook, and makes just all of your all around sales and stuff like that on the internet, and it's pretty protected, uh, fairly easy and whatnot to handle. So uh, having your website presentable really goes a long way, right? For me, we have pictures that are on the website that are like 8 years old of our like blue diamonds, for instance. If we were having an issue trying to sell blue diamonds, I would take a better picture and upgrade it so that way blue diamond sales could be better. But for us, I don't have the issue of constantly trying to get my shrimp out there and finding a sale and promoting the blue diamonds. I've got a YouTube video and everybody can see the actual blue diamond colonies on that video. And just from that one video, I probably generate a good amount of sales that keeps my stock down low enough that I'm never like I'm drowning and have blue diamonds out of my ears. So until I've got like 3 or 4 tubs and I can't even sell the wholesale blue diamonds anymore, I'm not really too concerned about my pictures. You can go on Facebook, on Instagram, and you can see that we've got really nice blue diamond colonies. Why isn't the picture on the website updated? It's because then I would never have shrimp in stock, and people would always be complaining like, "Oh, hey, why do you even have a website if you never have shrimp in stock?" And it would be more like, "Oh, I've got blue diamonds available on the website on the second Saturday of this month, and then they're gone in a week, and I don't have them available again for another month." I don't want it. I don't want it to be like that. I like it to be constant, steady. I like to meet my demand and have it constantly posted, so I don't have to constantly take it down and put it back up. So I'd really like to keep up with things the way they are, and so far it's really working. Other things, though, we might try to bump up, like our pictures for the rabbit snails. We have way more rabbit snails than we sold last year. Same with the Sulawesi shrimp. So I'm probably going to try and market those a little bit better, nicer photos, maybe do some Sulawesi videos and get those pumped out and sold a little bit better. Besides that, everything on the website pretty much sells itself, and I'm just barely able to keep on and hold on to demand. That's why we're setting up more aquariums and doing more tanks. Some of the shrimp that are going on sale and stuff like that, we might have a little more than what we want, but their price and stuff like that still holding up quite nicely. So when it comes to stock on your website and presentation and sales and stuff like that, the nicer it is, obviously, the more sales you're going to get. But that's kind of why we have things on our website, is just because sales are good. I'm not really worried about them. But there are some nice photos on the website. Shelby's done some really nice work to make the website really presentable. And we do really well through just sales on our website now. We use YouTube to promote and drive traffic to our website. And then from there, it's handled. Shelby will get the orders through the website. She'll write them down on a sheet. She'll print out all the labels. Usually Layla cuts all the labels out for us. Jaden will get all the newspaper ready for the newspaper burritos. Shelby's got her cups of shrimp to catch. I've got mine and bags of plants to get. And we gather them all up and figure out what goes into what box, slap the label on it, and then ship it off. So we don't have to really worry about PayPal sales and band sales and eBay and Aquabid. It's all just through our website. except for like last week and this week, we do have like ocean blues. I've also got some red ghost, hollow eye red ghost that I'm going to be selling just before Halloween only. So if you are looking for those, yeah, email me at the garden of Eden at gmail.com, and I'll take PayPal and get those shipped out to you. But honestly, getting them on the website and stuff like that, it'd make my life a whole lot easier. But stock is just weird right now because I did a 90% water change in the blue diamond, not blue diamond, ocean blue tub, and in like 2 days it's full green again. We've got a little thing on our Facebook group on who can guess how many rabbit snails are pulled out of the greenhouse, and the only reason why I haven't pulled that answer yet is because I'm still finding rabbit snails. I can't get them all out of the green water and one of the other tubs. So until they're all gone, probably before we get to Aquashella, I don't know the exact number, and I'm giving other people chances to guess. One person is really close. Like if I stop getting rabbit snails today, they're one off. So that's one thing. If you're on Facebook, go check that out. The website just makes things way more easier. So you definitely got to get that figured out and make it as nice and integrated and easy as possible for you. The next thing is to figure out what stock you're going to keep. There's a lot of different options in the aquarium hobby. For me, I did shrimp. If I were going to do this all over again, this is kind of what I've been getting a lot of questions lately. And the reason why I wanted to do this stream is quite a few people in probably the last 2 months has said, hey, I'm really thinking about starting my own business in the hobby. What tips do you have? How did you get started? What did you go through? So the whole thing with the business license and SunBiz and getting it all started, that is basically a blueprint for them to get their things in the line to get going. But to figure out what stock and what you're going to keep, if I were going to start today, and obviously somebody like me, not the Garden of Eden, but somebody else had the same exact operation that's going on here, had everything the way it is now, and looking at their operation, I would probably focus on just Neocaridina. I know how the market is. I know the demand. I know how many pet stores are in need of the Neocaridina. I also recently saw one of the wholesale sheets for shrimp, and I couldn't believe how much they were charging for some of the shrimp. Like they're only $1 cheaper than what I'm charging for the retail price on our website. So it's just some of the pet stores are willing to pay almost top dollar because they're selling them for way, way more money these days. So logistics with shipping and everything like that overseas, the prices have just gone up. Custom fees have gone up. So that's driven up the individual prices of shrimp to wholesale to the retail pet stores. So before they were maybe getting shrimp for 50 cents to $1.50. Maybe there's still some sources out there for them, but I looked at one of the bigger names and they were charging almost like $3.50 per shrimp. So I would stick to Neocaridina. They're super hardy. The demand for them is kind of wild and bizarre. This year, I know like 4 different higher end Caridina breeders. Plamsky's one of them. There's a couple others that, their real main focus was like fancy tigers and galaxy pintos. There's only so many people in the United States that have the money that want to spend over $10 a shrimp and, want quality. And they set up the RO unit. They set up everything with the aqua soil and get it all going. And it's like when you see the average person go, oh, I need all that. Like I might as well just go down saltwater and get a coral reef tank. And that's way more money. But at the same time, like there's a lot more things to play with in corals and stuff like that. So the appeal to Caridina shrimp and stuff, the Facebook marketplace thing with it making no live sales of animals, available through Facebook anymore. Kind of just killed the market for Caridina, to be quite honest. I'll sell some Caridina shrimp here and there for people who are really dedicated and really want those varieties of shrimp, or they already had access to an RO unit, so why not? But those people are fewer and fewer every single day. But the amount of people that are setting up a tank for Neocaridina shrimp is gradually increasing. It's just they might not be as concentrated on Facebook anymore. They're all over the place though, and the shrimp hobby is just as flourishing as it ever has been, as long as you don't look at like the Caridina scene. So if you're looking at what to breed and what to keep and what stock to sell and stuff like that, look at the bread and butter stuff. So that's why I suggested the Neocaridina, because for that's bread and butter. Once upon a time, tiger shrimp were our bread and butter. I was selling more tangerine tigers, super tigers, orange eye blues, black tiger orange eyes than any other kind of shrimp that we were breeding out, that I wasn't even focused or trying to breed any of the Neocaridina, because there was just so many people on Facebook that were able to breed them out, sell them. But there was not that many people that were able to do well with tiger shrimp, but there were so many people that wanted them. Tiger shrimp are still a good market today. They might not be bread and butter, but they're more like cheesecake. Like everybody likes cheesecake. Maybe not everybody, but it still sells pretty well. Or ice cream. Ice cream would have been a way better. What? I should think things through a little bit better, but this is on a live stream, so we're going to switch it up to ice cream. A whole lot of people want ice cream, especially during the summertime. It's very similar to shrimp, and the tiger shrimp. I'm sorry. Not everybody's going to want it all the time like bread and butter, but every once in a while you'll get a good enough. You can make a good business off of selling ice cream. So that's what I'm getting at. My analogy went out the window. I'm sorry. But yeah, you want to be focused on what sells. For us, the Neos, the tiger shrimp, the moss. That's what sells the best. We could honestly do without any product. We don't sell a whole lot of salts or shrimp foods or anything like that. A lot of people will go directly to the source for that, or they're just putting in a small order, and the shrimp salts might be a little bit cheaper if you're not spending $100 and you're going through Amazon and they give you free shipping. So it's one of those things where we just don't sell a whole lot of that. You got to look into whether or not you want like a niche or you want like a load of variety. I was talking about this with Ryan from My Wild Fish Tanks on our way home from the last show. He's like, dude, you've got a niche. You're focused. People know exactly what to expect. Da 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 da. And with Ryan, he's got all of the native fish, but he does dabble in a lot of other things, like some of the invasive species that he catches. He does a lot of not local native fish to Florida, but a lot of native live bearers, and not native live bearers, but wild type live bearers and stuff like that. So, but at the same time, he's got a beautiful tank of frontosas. He's known for having his frontosas. So for him to like just go down to a niche and only sell wild caught fish from Florida, I just think that would be crazy. Like Ryan has like a little thing going, a little smorgasbord. He's got his T-shirts and stuff like that. He has, maybe not a theme going on per se, but I think he could double down a little bit more on the wild fish and still have the T-shirts and the frontosas available and stuff like that. And maybe just not travel with them to shows, but they're available on eBay and stuff like that he still keeps and sells them on. So for like me, my main hustle is going to be the shrimp. That's my niche. That's my focus. That's where I thrive, right? But on top of that, the snails, the moss, the plants, they all intertwine with the shrimp keeping. But for me, my side hustle, though, in staying in the hobby is going to be the aquascaping. I can't really aquascape and build and destroy tanks and ship off tanks while breeding shrimp in those, right? So it doesn't really merge. It might intertwine a little bit with my hobby, and the same might be for Ryan and his Frontosa. He might feed them the same food that he feeds his wild fish. So like there might be things that intertwine, but having a niche is definitely a good thing to have. But on the other hand, you could do loads of variety too. We went to Robert's Ray Aquatics, and going around his fish room, he's got a little bit of everything. He's got cories, he's got apistos, he's got frontosas, he's got swords, he's got goldfish, he's got live bearers. He's got a lot of cichlids. I'm probably forgetting something. The jewel cichlids were really cool that he had. Mike from Fish Tank Barn did a really nice tour video of his house while we were there. And Robert asked me, man, what should I do? And Robert's really good at keeping and breeding a large variety of different things. And for Robert, I think that works out really well. And I'll circle back to presentation for Robert, but Robert, he's able to breed the cories out and breed everything else that I had listed. I'm not going to list it all again. And then bring those to shows. And people don't necessarily like expect Robert to have rice fish at every single one of the shows, but they can expect a good variety every single time they go to Robert's booth. So it kind of gives, oh man, I'm stuttering. It kind of gives a really good reason for people to keep coming back, check into his website, to go back to it and figure out, hey, what he's got available, and kind of keeping a variety is good and key. But for Robert, I just got to tell him, you just got to keep on trucking, because if you kind of condense and just focus on a few things and you're not doing everything, to me, if you're not growing, you're dying. So you definitely want to be expanding and setting up more, doing more, focusing on more. You want to make sure you're having more sales at the same time. But if you're doing really well and you're getting numbers and you're getting, a little bit of a profit, definitely look to expanding and growing it out. Make sure your bills are paid first, but reinvesting back into your passion, back into your hobby, it's really going to get you a lot further. For us, with having 2 kids when we first started out going into this full time, we didn't really think that we could, well, at least me going into it full time, I didn't really think that it was possible for us to be able to afford another baby, more kids even in general. And so what we did though is, I saw that with every rack that we added and continued to add shrimp to the house, and sales increased, and every year it just got better and better. It just makes sense for us to keep on adding another rack. And for us, the growth, it allows us to make more money each and every year. It might be more work, but it's more reward. It might be more risk. Putting up the money for another rack isn't cheap, but high risk, high reward for that situation, where we're able to maybe we didn't make any money off of this rack, any profit at all the first year, but definitely every month I'm making money. We're making money now. We're selling stardust off of this rack, I would say, every single week. Crystal shrimp, Taiwan bees, Thai bees. I'm sure I'm forgetting a lot of tiger shrimp come off of this rack. And it's all, something that wasn't in the middle of our living room 3 years ago. So for someone like Robert, who already has a ton of variety and a lot of different species, you definitely want to have the growth to continue. He's got a big backyard. He's got room to set up, more tubs and more totes and stuff like that. So in Robert's situation, I would do more varieties of what he already has and what he's already able to breed. And then people are going to want different varieties of different things, and they're going to come back to Robert when they have successful the rice fish, or what I get from Robert. So we're successful. So every time Robert has a color rice fish that I don't have, I buy them off of him.
So SWFL Aquatic said, the Garden of Eater, what advice would you give to someone starting a shrimp business to compete against you?
I would listen to every single thing that I've said in this presentation and take it into consideration and go from there. I'm going to talk about like awards and advertising and like finding two Shelbys. Like, good luck.
There's
but
plenty of people out there that support you.
Yeah, but they don't work as hard as you do. Like, that's a rough one, Shelby.
Yeah.
Honestly, I got it made. I'm really lucky when it comes to Shelby. Pisces has taken her away a little bit, but it'll be worth it. And it's still going to be one of those things where our hobbies and jobs are going to merge together. We're both going to be able to work shows with one another. So you just kind of got to double down on the variety thing and growing. Maybe not have as many tanks as I do, but breed as many shrimp as I can. It would definitely be goal number one. And then from there, I would breed whatever I don't have. Like, I would focus on things that I don't like. I'm not really focused on Galaxy Pintos and the other things that I just said aren't really selling well. They're not selling well right now, but who knows what could happen in a year or two? A whole new platform could come out. Everybody could jump on to Twitter, which is now X, and there could be the biggest online Caradina shrimp group could form, and then everybody wants an RO unit and they want to get in going. So if you have the nicest varieties of those shrimp, then yeah, you want to have those on deck for when something like that happens. But enter into the competitions. I'll just talk about the shrimp competitions now. There's a lot of people who have small little tiny shrimp businesses that don't take advantage of the shrimp contest. When they do, they don't really advertise and share their awards. They don't post it on social media really. They might share it on like their own personal group, but it's not really shared on their business. LRB does a good job of this. When you go and click on his shrimp, they're award-winning shrimp. We don't have it posted on our website other than like maybe the beginning says award-winning shrimp breeder, homebred award-winning shrimp or something like that, maybe somewhere on the website.
It's homebred.
Maybe not award-winning, but
took us a while just to put the homebred on
there. There's enough people in the hobby though that know I have the most awards out of anybody in the United States. Maybe not for the American Shrimp Contest anymore, but the international ones for sure. And I plan on keeping that reign. Like, a lot of reason why I didn't run the international show for the North Carolina Expo was because I'm still wanting to compete. I don't have the ability to travel to China and Dortmund and Italy to bring my shrimp over there. I don't have the export-import licenses and everything like that to make it happen. So until I can afford all that and make that happen, the international show that's here in the United States is what I've got, and I like to compete in it. So I can see how good my shrimp are or how good Shelby shrimp are compared to maybe not the rest of the world, but at least the ones that are willing and capable enough to send them into the United States. And there's some really nice shrimp that do get sent in, especially for the Neocaridina side. So if you're looking to get started on selling in the business, in the hobby, whether it's shrimp or guppies or bettas, enter into the contest. Get your name out there, get your lines and a reputation for certain genetics going, so that way you can say, hey, if you want the best reds in the business, you can come to me. And the reason why I can say they're the best reds in the business is because I have this award. Do they have the award? Is it 2 years old? Is it 8 years old? How old is the award? Like, quality is going to be earned every single year. So you don't just want to quit. Having a couple of competition tanks throughout your colonies and not just dedicate them for sales is definitely something you want to keep in mind because of the amount of attention you gain. When Facebook had the rule change from live sales to none at all, The one thing that really helped us out was the international award-winning shrimp. The other thing that helped us out is the variety. When people were like, "Hey, who has this shrimp?" A lot of people could just go, "Well, Grant might have it. Ask him," because we had over 50 varieties of shrimp maybe when that happened, at least over 50. So you're gonna read it out? No.
Oh, I thought you were still
No. I stopped. No, I'm good.
Tank Girl said, I was thinking of doing a side hustle of guppies and shrimp, but I'm limited on space. Any suggestions?
Go high, as high up as you can go. 10-gallon tanks. I wouldn't breed my shrimp in the same tanks that I breed the guppies in, but I would use the guppy tanks as cull tanks. And if the culls breed in the guppy tanks, then that's a bonus. But I wouldn't try purposely to keep guppies in my shrimp breeding tanks because you won't get as much babies nearly as you want out of it.
Yeah.
Anything
If you have like porches or anything, people don't think about putting guppies out for a little bit. Yeah, like obviously we're coming to winter, so this doesn't help very much, but summer tubbing is definitely like a big thing, and just putting a couple little ponds out. They really sell them cheap at some of the farm stores, and then throw in some guppies, and they breed like crazy. Fish usually do better during the warmer times of the year anyways, and that's the best time to like have some extra cash during summer. And then obviously the shrimp, like he said, the smaller the better. I mean, counter space, they don't need a big tank. They can take up a little space and just gives you some extra cash on the side. So it really, I mean, they breed themselves. Once you spend the initial money on them, you kind of make your money back if you could just sell them at any little online or at any fish expo that's near you. So
and I want to like go back over what Shelby said. Oh, I'm about to forget it. What did you just say? Bring it. You brought you
the tubs.
Yeah. All right. So Shelby hit the nail on the head when she talked about the summer tubbing. Even here in Florida, I can't keep the guppies out all year round. However, they do really well if you put them out from April and then put them back inside in September. And then, you sell them off when you bring them inside. If you're overstocked like a pet store, that's not that bad as long as you sell them off and then you're able to go back down to a smaller colony that you can keep in the tanks inside during the winter. If you can get some breeding and some fry and you have a fry tank, move them over. That's great. If not, you move them back outside again during the summer and you go back to breeding. So, yeah, I almost forgot. You gotta stop pulling them down on me.
Nano said, "Is there a shrimp or fish you think would be a good breeding for profit project? New to you?"
A new one to me. I honestly thought a Pistos was going to be a really good one for me. It's not like totally new. I got a colony. I planned on doing it and just never got the room. I never cleared the tanks out of the hallway. I ended up putting more shrimp into them and plants into them. And the plecos would also be like not the common bristle nose, but like some of the higher end L numbers or the more rare Corys and stuff like that. Those are all really good breeding, really profitable shrimp fish to start keeping and selling. So a couple weeks ago, I went to Jeff's, and he breeds a lot of Corys and a lot of plecos, and it seems like there's always people knocking on his door to buy his product. So I just think the demand for those are going to be quite high. There's Cataclysm, I think, this weekend, or CatCon. I can't remember. They alternate. And I mean, that's a whole convention dedicated to catfish. And there might be some Synodontrus, and I probably butchered that name, and other catfish that get a popular or decent crowd at those shows. But let's be honest, it's plecos and Corys that are the bread and butter for that convention.
And I would honestly say, for as shrimp wise, they're not new to us, but Sulawesi, You got to think of the fact that you cannot get these anymore from the wild, so they are going.
You can finish. I'm sorry. I just don't think that there's anybody interested in sending the Sulu SA tanks up. There's so many people that have failed, and they've been deemed like so hard to keep and breed that
they
nobody
won't
wants them
exist
anymore.
if we don't have them in the hobby.
I know, but
there's always going to be people that want them in the hobby. Just like any of the fish that you find on the care species list, you will get someone that buys them. There's people that will pay the money.
I just don't think it's good profit.
You have tons of beta fish. There will be tons of profit when you're the only one that has them.
Yeah, but it's like the rare killies. Like there's people that are getting out of the killie hobby that breed all the rare killies because there's not that many people that want to keep and breed them because they're so hard to keep and breed.
So let's say aren't hard to keep and breed. That's the thing.
You got to have RO water, and it's just like Caridina. They're fading. There's less and less people that want them. I wouldn't dedicate a tank to Caridina or Sulu SA if I was trying to. I guess Caridina too. If I was trying to breed for profit these days. That's just how I feel. I disagree with your Sulu SA. You can disagree with something I mentioned. All right. So we'll get on to shipping. You got to get comfortable with shipping. It was really nerve-wracking and stressful. Our like first 3 shipments, maybe. Once they made it, after that, it drastically got less and less stressful. Now I don't worry about it at all. We kind of know our cutoff dates when to stop shipping out the Sulu SA. And besides that, nothing else really has an issue for us with the shrimp. The guppies and stuff like that, we really couldn't ship those out after next month. We might have some of them on the website if they don't sell at Aquashella, but we'll probably be shipping those out next month just to get rid of those because we don't have really the tank space inside, and they did quite well outside. But figuring out how that goes, we've got a website. Not a website, a YouTube video. We should probably do an updated video on that because we do use the poly bags now for the Neocaridina, and you definitely got to figure out your method. For us, the newspaper and everything like that works really well. I would highly recommend not using the insulated, the shredded insulation. The carpet material and stuff like that. So many people complain about it. It makes a mess. It gets on the bags and ends up getting into the water most of the time. So I would completely avoid using any of the fiberglass or the shredded insulation.
SWFL said, any RO system you'd recommend?
So this weekend at Aquashella, I will be picking up a new Aqua FX 500 gallon per day RO unit. I recommended them once upon a time to somebody else, and they were on vacation, of course, and I had recommended them because of their customer service. I ended up calling them last week. They picked up the phone right away. I told them what I needed. They put the box together for me, added it all up, and told me my price, and I'm getting it at Aquashella. So Aqua FX, they've got many different units. A 4 or a 5 stage would be great if you have like 110 to 200 300 TDS.
Richard said, what are your feelings on eBay?
What are your feelings on eBay? I'm dying. Hold on.
eBay's kind of a dying website. There's people that have had success with it, but you have to post it like every day. I know that it doesn't like it's your post gets too far behind is what it is. So when you post a new one, it comes up and people see it, but it can get hidden really fast. It happens. I'm trying to word this the proper way. Like my father has done eBay for many years. You have to have a really good score on eBay for people to even like find you. It's just older. Like
And then it
people
helps to
might.
refresh your ads so that way they come up on the first on the search bar and stuff like that. There's like Ryan was saying, if he only has the ad running for 7 days, when he redoes the ad, it goes back up to the top, or when somebody buys it and brings it back up to the top too. So that helps. Um,
So what I would just our generation really doesn't use eBay. Like my brother's a little like he's 6 years older than me. They kind of still dabble in eBay, but I just think it's kind of dying compared to all the other platforms like Amazon and your own website, which there's completely free websites you could use and it's like just a plug and play, real simple. And then you figure out shipping yourself, which you just do through PayPal or USPS.com themselves or whatever carrier you want to use. But
and maybe we're not the best ones to recommend or talk about eBay exactly because we've never used it. I mentioned like for us, keeping stock on the website has been very difficult. Like we dabbled a little bit with wholesale, and then in the wintertime, we've got no shrimp on the website. So like this is the first year we're not doing any wholesale. We're going to see if we can even keep shrimp in demand for ourselves on the website. We're trying to expand and do more so that way next year maybe we can bring on a few wholesale accounts and not end up with no shrimp by February like we have in years past. There was a guy that was buying like 200 to 400 shrimp off of us every week down in Clearwater and then selling them all on eBay. And he was making enough money to make it worth his while. And that was when we were doing wholesale. And I don't know like what his profit margins were and stuff like that, but he did not have somebody that was like Shelby and very supportive. She was always in his ear like, ew, why shrimp? Why are you doing this? Why? And even though he was making pretty good money off of it, his very first issue that he had, he pretty much made it an excuse to get out of the hobby and make her happy. So you definitely want to make sure that that you take somebody else's experience from eBay and not just ours, because
I only know from my father's experience, which is many, many years of experience on eBay, where eBay used to be the thing, but like Amazon is now the thing for our generation. So if you go on to like every fish and shrimp page, usually it's someone asking, oh, should I buy these off of Amazon? And it's like, no, there's like 100 different reputable places to buy. And like eBay could be one of those places where there's people that have been breeding and selling fish on there for years, and just people don't use it as much. That's the only problem with it. But if someone knows you and you advertise where you sell, it should be no problem. But Hagen Hill Design said, dang, I just put a couple of gallons on the floor. Man, Grant knows that too well. Too well.
I haven't flooded in a while.
The last person to flood this house was me with a mop bucket. I was trying to push it, and I pushed the whole thing over. That was awful. And I just looked at it. I was like, you know what? It's better than fish water. At least it's cleaning up.
But like, I've been so good that I haven't even flooded anything outside.
Yeah. Laura says, how do you get all your newspapers?
So my best friend's mother works at the local newspaper place, and she grabs all the recycling when I tell her to. She loads up her trunk of her car, and then I meet her at her son's house, and I get a month's worth of newspaper. So before that, I had my grandpa. I had one of my old landscape customers that was giving me all of the recycled newspaper, and then they would drop it off like once every 3 or 4 months. My neighbor next door, she is a vet tech, and a lot of people will donate newspaper to her work for the kittens, but like it's more newspaper than kittens. So every now and then I'll get a grocery bag full of newspaper just on the front porch. So that's my sources. But in Florida, we used to have like recycling bins, but the homeless people have been abusing them, and then people were throwing away other things other than newspapers in them. So maybe where you live, that'll be different.
It's so funny. Anna, get the comment down so we can see the baby. She keeps making faces because she's just wide awake. Hi.
But like we also use other things other than just newspaper. I think you guys just got a box not that long ago on the way. And when we order like our salts or when Shelby gets rock, I think your box had rock wrapped. Was wrapping of rock. We got a bunch of dragon stones. So instead of throwing all of the stuffing away, we just repackage it and ship it off. It works just like newspaper. So
honestly, newts are the worst. They always look like they're dead.
Yeah, they do.
That one's freaking me out because it's like it looks like The Exorcist. It's like hands are like this and its head's like all the way back. It's just freaking me out.
I know one of these days, maybe not even our kids, but like maybe one of the other kids that come around, like one of the neighborhood kids, and I tell them don't tap on the glass and stuff like that. They're gonna see me tap on the glass. They're gonna be like, "I thought you said don't tap on the glass," and I'm gonna be like, "Well, except for these guys, it's okay."
Freak you out a little bit. You're
that
like,
and crayfish, I would have to do that every now and then too, because you don't know if it's a molt or a dead one or a live one. And
oh, I hate when crayfish are molting. Everyone.
It's never dead. It's always just very still or a molt.
So WFL
do a barrel roll.
At least it moved.
It just turned.
Yeah.
Like a complete barrel roll. It just looks like it's dead again.
So, I picked up 8 10
This
gallon
one's hiding
tanks.
behind the pleco.
I picked up 8 10 gallon
There's
tanks
not a
this
pleco
weekend. May try Caradina shrimp. Yeah, as you should.
There's definitely some Caradina shrimp that are always going to be in high demand. Blue bolts, those, and red crystal shrimp. I can't breed enough red crystal shrimp. I can't.
I swear I missed a comment earlier. I did. SWFL said, I may catch up in tanks, but knowledge, all it is after years of doing it. Like, you will definitely catch up in knowledge for sure. It's just doing it to catch up.
If you listen to all the live streams, I think I've said everything. I don't know if there's anything fresh on the brain.
Yeah,
anymore.
if you watch more videos than we did, you'll definitely catch up on knowledge probably faster than we did. He watched some videos, but I don't. I just kind of learned from him. So, and going to shows, I actually learn a lot talking to other people. So,
I don't know why it died on me earlier. I think it's because of where it's plugged in.
That's so weird. Oinky, member for 21 months. Thank you so much. Says, are Matins one of the best filters for shrimp? What is wrong with that thing?
I don't know.
Oh, no, it's definitely where you have it plugged in.
I don't know where the other thing is.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's just going to be a dark, spooky live stream. No, we don't have room for it. Yeah. So, do we even... I don't have Matin filters. That's not going to work. That's enough.
Boom! I wish you saw my face right now when she says it's not going to work and it works.
It's plugged into the
Myra's like,
laptop.
you go, daddy.
Lanky asked, are Matin filters one of the best filters for shrimp?
So I don't like them very much because there's always shrimp that climb up and over and get behind it, and then you've got to fish them out from the back. There's some that sit on top of the soil, and those ones are great. But I've had Matin filters get clogged, and then you got to take them out and rinse them. And if there's substrate that gets messed up, then it causes a bacterial infection. So I prefer the barrel filters, not these ones, not the double suction cup ones, but the ones with the base. The cylinders, the Aquarium Co-op ones, I think are going to be what we're going to do with Shelby's room, and try those out with the shrimp. But
it's just a sponge filter with a base.
Yeah, they got a name.
I don't think so.
I think
it's
got
just
a name.
Sponge filter with base.
All right,
A weighted base.
A weighted sponge filter. There you go. Thank you, Shelby.
Vibes Aquatics, thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat. Said, here's the Aquashella. Let the party begin. I'm so excited and also very anxious about it too. I feel like I'm just going to be like a walking zombie the whole time. Just the amount of sleep I'm not getting. But I got a couple naps in lately. So hopefully.
I was honestly worried about how we were going to get everything to Daytona with the kids without making 2 trips. And I was like, and I really don't want to have to make 2 trips. But because of Halloween, we have to make 2 trips. So I'm not stressed out at all about getting stuff to the expo because we're going to drive to Daytona, set up the Shrimp Expo, unload our 3 tanks that we already have scaped and ready for the show. They're not planted, but they are hardscaped. And then we are going to drop off the dry good bins, whatever shrimp we already have caught, and snails, isopods, and fish at our booth. And then we're going to hustle back to our home, get the kids, go trick-or-treating, and then hustle back to Daytona. Hopefully walk the beach with the kids, find some sea turtles, hit the hay, wake up on Friday, finish setting everything up, scape a bunch of tanks, and then Aquashella Saturday, Sunday.
Can't wait to see you, Vibes.
And then on the way home, I was worried about fitting everything into the car, but we've got Tim, Crypt Keeper, who's coming to the house afterwards. So I'm just going to fill his rental car up with stuff to bring to the house. I'm sorry, Tim, if you're just now listening to this, I have volunteered you for that.
Nana said, so newts are good for Halloween tank. Yes, they are freaky, honestly.
Newts are one of the things that I'm definitely going to be splurging on in 2025.
Tank Girl said, I'm so excited for Aquashella. It's my first one. You will definitely enjoy it and can't wait to meet you. Johnny said, Grant, when Catappa leaf breaks down and Caridina shrimp tank set, is it good or bad thing?
I don't like it. It's not necessarily a bad thing if you don't like mulm. I don't like mulm, so I would prefer not to let any of the leaves break down in my tanks.
So Hagen Hill Design said, we have a mat and filter on one of our shrimp tanks, and yes, they find a way to get from the other side. Digital CMDR says, any good resources for building an automatic water change system for a shrimp rack? My city water is hard, so I need to have a RO reservoir I can treat.
All right, so I would go check out Greg Sage's YouTube. Let me just make sure it's just Greg Sage. Maybe it's Greg Sage Aquatics. I'm getting there, Shelby.
Selected? No, that's not it. Yeah, Selected Aquatics. Am I right on that?
It's just Greg Sage. So go check out Greg Sage. Oh, man. Just bit my tongue. Greg Sage. And he's got probably one of the nicest automated water change setups that I've seen. He did a talk for our club a couple months ago, and that's my guy who I would go to if I were going to get it done in the future. Robert at Ray Aquatics had something very similar, but it was just to drain the tanks, not put the water back into the tanks. So I would look into Mr. Sage.
Johnny Best, thank you so much for becoming a member once again. If you do become a member, don't forget to reach out to us. I am behind on that. Reach out to our email, thegardenofeater@gmail.com, and we will get your member-only sticker out to you and your discount code to our website. I will be getting those done when I get back, though, for sure. There's only a couple that I'm behind on. And then Nano said, will it be 2 trips on the way back too? No, that's why he volunteered Tim to take some of the stuff back.
And if Tim's like, no, I'm not doing it, I've got
a couple other people coming to the house afterwards. So
yeah.
They'll have some sort of transportation. We are definitely looking into a new vehicle for the upcoming shows, hopefully.
But I'm getting a massive RO system. Like usually I just have the 5-stage with a little DI on it. I'm getting a bigger system that takes larger canisters than what we had before. Since we're all out of the old ones, I might as well just upgrade the entire system. And then I'm getting a tank full of carbon, so that way it treats the entire system. I'm getting an extension line that's going to be run out of the house to the other tubs on the other side of the house, and is going to run a constant drip line of water into the neocaridina tubs on the other side of the house, because the carbon's already going to be taking it out, and it's going to have 2 giant DI tanks on it too. So yeah, I'm super happy. I don't know if it's going to have a booster pump or not.
I'm not happy about this thing. It sounds gigantic.
I've been working on this thing for a while with Jeremy, tweaking little things here and there. It's going to have the float valves on it, though, so we ain't going to flood the and he's making them for me, so they're going to have little clip things for it.
Nice. Jason says, have you ever thought of keeping and breeding vampire crabs?
So we've set up 2 or 3 tanks from them, here's what I'm going to say about the vampire crabs. I would love to get them from somebody who's had them in a well set up tank, bred them, and I don't know. Every time we've gotten vampire crabs, it's been from like one of the bigger shows, not like Aquashella even. It's
They're
global, and it's one of the wholesalers that brought them in, and they've been in little tiny cups, and the price was like cheap enough that I was like, all right, let's do it. But they never really worked out for us. I would probably do them in the future. Layla loves crabs, so it'll probably be something I do with Layla.
Yeah, I definitely love them. They're really cool. We just never got any healthy ones that survive long. So I don't know what crabs die from. But when they're eating and their water perimeters are fine, usually there's something else that we just don't notice.
This blanket is nuking. It's so warm.
Yeah, it's me. But she also didn't like her little footsie pajamas. That's what she was upset about. She was like not even that hungry. She just doesn't like to be trapped in them. Same. I get it. Hagen Hill Design says, how do we get a sticker to you? You can message us. We'll send you the address, or hopefully we'll line up some event we can see you. Thank you, Beauty and Buds. Oranky said, are you planning to go to Aqua Expo in February? It looks like Ed will be there, and I'm hoping to go myself.
Yeah.
Ooh, wonderful. Yes, we will definitely be there. That's like one of our favorite shows, and that's our first show of the year. So we're definitely excited for that one.
Sabu's like one of my best friends. Brandy is one of Shelby's favorite people. So we will be doing that show just to support the 2 of them. But at the same time, it's in the Bloomfield's backyard. We get to see a lot of our favorite people when we go to that show. So
Malcolm Reynolds says, I am happy with the Aqua FX that I have. Johnny said, Grant, my city water is very soft out the tap. Was wondering if neocaridina would survive in pH of 6, TDS 45, GH 4, and KH of 2.
So something isn't right there. For your TDS to be 45 and your GH 4, in your KH is 2, you might have that with your test strips. Is that what you're getting it at, or is that the drops? Because that's usually not right. Usually you get like 20 to 30 TDS per GH. So like the lowest I would say your TDS would be like 80 to have a GH of 4, and that's like the lowest possible outcome. Most of the time it's like almost to 100. So I would ask you, are you testing with strips or using the API drops? That's my next question for you.
So Richard said, where is the Aqua Expo in February? So it's the Aquatic Expo. It's going to be the River Place Expo Center in Fort Mill, South Carolina. But yeah, you can find, they have a Facebook page, the Aquatic Expo. So theirs is pretty easy. SD Caterpillar said, I ordered a booster pump last week and didn't realize it was the regular, not high output. Hopefully it'll work for me. Yeah, it depends on how much you're using it and how many.
Yeah, but like for
pressure too, right?
Yeah, but for us, we don't even need the booster pump unless we're running water like at the same time. So if I wanted to water or do water changes outside while the RO pump was running, then I wouldn't have enough pressure. But as long as nothing else is running, I've got more than enough pressure for the RO system. So
She's learning.
And if I'm doing water changes outside, I'm not doing water changes inside. I just don't like to risk that. Cross contamination and then flooding is at an all-time high when I multitask outside. I'll get distracted by a gecko and take photos, and the next thing you know, there's water coming outside.
And you did flood. You did flood not too long ago because the baby distracted him. What was that?
No. I almost flooded.
Oh, okay.
It was to the
But
brim.
you did get the whole floor wet with the hose the other day.
But that wasn't a flood.
Who puts a garden hose inside in a trash can? This guy. And it every time, like without fail, I swear, like every time you got
the dog must have bumped it or something.
Yeah,
it was all set and good to go. I multitasked and come back with spraying water on the floor. That's not a flood. That's just a misdirection.
But when I know that my towels I have to wash twice as much, it's a problem.
We also gave the dogs a bath, so I don't want to hear nothing about towels. Yeah. We did. You didn't help. Don't take credit for something you didn't do.
Bugsy said, which show is the biggest show?
Aquashella, Dallas, by far, is our biggest show. Chicago is also pretty big. Daytona, I would say, is almost as big as Chicago, but not quite. And then the North Carolina Expo that Shelby was just talking about would be next in line. So for our chart, advertisement is also very important. You want to make sure you get your name out there as much as possible. It helps when you have awards and you have good stock and stuff like that. You can advertise and take pictures. For us, a lot of our advertisement is just on social media. I'll take pictures. I'll post them on our Facebook. For most part, that's where the most of our traction is, besides YouTube. But I don't really post photos on YouTube. YouTube's more of like constant videos and stuff like that. So I don't really count it too much as advertisement. But like the daily posts on Instagram and Facebook, that's for sure our advertisement. Every now and then I'll make like ads in band group and try and get sales out there and stuff like that. But advertising, whether you're paying for the ads or not, it's just really important to do it. We've maybe like tried spending like $15 on an ad on Facebook and never really got much out of it. So we don't do that too much. We just, post it, share it in groups, and the most that you guys could really do to help us out. We are recently monetized on Facebook. So when you go to the Garden of Eden and you see the videos that we're posting, share them to your local groups, share them to your groups where it allows, outsource videos and stuff like that. As long as they're like shrimp related or aquatic based and stuff like that. It really helps because the more people that view the videos, the more likes the video gets, the more Facebook gives us. But Facebook is basically like our main attraction. So when people like our videos, though, I can also send them an invite to our page. So by sharing the videos out there and then me being able to invite them, that's probably the biggest thing we can do because that's where a bulk of our sales come from is Facebook and word of mouth.
SD Caterpillar says my water pressure is only around 40 psi, so I probably need to call Aqua FX and ask them. Yeah. Oinky said, thank you for the information about the mountain filter. Have never Having never used them before, I would think that those teeny bodies would engage in, haha, I'm hiding, come find me. Yeah. Nano said, are you doing the Aquascape contest at Aquashella separately? Can't wait to see what you guys make.
Yes.
And we don't even get to scape next to each other, which is funny because I have complained about it quite often. It is not fun to skate.
So we had to go to
him.
Home Depot today and buy all extra tools because we're not going to be near one another and going, hey, I need this, I need this, I need this.
Over there because I will be far away from him.
Yeah,
so we had to get.
We'll have a communal hot plate in the middle of the competition for everybody to use.
So.
Well, Brian asked if he could use it.
That's
so
fine.
I won't.
I don't
think I'm going to use it either.
I'll just Brian's bring it for closer to you. So, but I will not be anywhere near you. Have a good night, Richard and Vibes. Can't wait to see you this week, Vibes. Thank you so much for joining us. But yeah, we have different styles for sure where we've clashed a lot. He's like way more dramatic than me. I like a different style. But it also sucks being right next to him because he does kind of push the envelope a little bit more than I do. So it sucks when everyone comes up and like his tank just kind of like outshines mine.
I like to think when people see her, when Shelby's looking at her tank, it's like a nice melody with birds chirping and it's like spring in the distance. And then when you look at my tank, it's going to be like, hee hee ha ha. It's going to be nuts.
Mine's more like that song, like, what the F is going on? That's what's going on in my head. And some people find it very, beautiful. But I don't know what's going on most of the time. I'm like, I hope this works out. It's very stressful. Those aquascaping contests are definitely a whole beast in itself because it's really stressful. Like he goes with a plan. I kind of go and let like all the pieces speak to me, which sometimes they don't.
I don't always go in with a plan. I just have a plan that I want to do this time. Usually I go in there with a concept of a plan. Okay? And it works out.
Grant 2024. He's going to go in with a concept. So we're super excited about this one. Hopefully one of us can win. Grant said only one of us can win, even though there's first, second, and third. Clearly, he's just writing me off as fourth
all
place.
I said is, at least if one of us places, it'll pay for all the stuff we bought at Home Depot today, and it'll be worth it.
All right, back to wherever you are.
All right, so then you want to stick with trends and what's popular in your area and high demand.
You focus.
She's sticking her tongue out. It's hard, and you're laughing at her, and you're looking at her.
Yeah.
So like, I really think one of the bigger trends that are coming out is going to be rice fish. It's slowly catching on. I see a lot more varieties out there. They're beginning to be more like guppies, where you'll see like somebody that has a bunch of different tanks on display on one of the booths at Aquashella or one of the other shows. And usually in the mix, they'll have some type of variety of rice fish. Or even at the Keystone Clash, there was a vendor who had an entire table of different varieties of rice fish. So that's definitely a trend that's starting to pick up. The other one's going to be nanofish. People don't have the money for some of the bigger, larger tanks. So the smaller, obviously the rice fish fit under that too, but nanofish in general, that's kind of why the shrimp are doing really well, are in high demand. So people that are breeding CPDs and the scarlet batis, those have been trending for a really long time. Obviously, like axolotls, those blew up because Minecraft made axolotls not a character, but
it is a character.
Maybe you can be an axolotl, but
like it's just an animal,
just a creature in Minecraft. All right. And because of that, every kid playing Minecraft wanted an axolotl. They were opened up to the world of axolotls.
Let's call them and make sure they get shrimp on there.
Right, like that could happen. Somebody can make an animated cartoon like
newts are on there actually.
Like Finding Nemo with freshwater shrimp or something like that, you know, or a mono shrimp, like an mono getting washed out to sea and then raising back up, and it's got to go through the troubles of life. Disney could do it, I'm sure. But yeah, you want to stay with what's trending and always be innovative.
Oh, goodness.
I just need more water, and I'll be good.
Oinky said, besides enchanting all of us with her beauty, how's the baby doing? She is sleeping / eating well. So the sleeping's somewhat good. Obviously, she's a baby anyway, so she's going to be up a little bit more. She does have her days and nights kind of confused, my little night owl, compared to my other two. The other two were almost sleeping through the night like a week after being home from the hospital. It was crazy. So she's definitely got me on some sleep deprivation right now, but she is eating well. She's gained quite a bit of weight since the last doctor's appointment, so that was really great to see, especially since she's so little. Oh, we're going to take it out. But thanks for asking.
I can already tell she loves me more. It's just
Our daughter
whenever I need her to be nice and silent and behave, and when it's my time, she's just a perfect little angel. That's all I got to say.
Jason said, yeah, rice fish is really growing in popularity, especially with a lot of newer wild Sulawesi ones. That's cool. Zach says, I love rice fish. I have about 6 different varieties. I'm currently working on breeding chili, CPDs, and Axelroidi, blue raspberries. Egg collecting is a blast. That's what I don't like, is the egg laying fish. And I'm like, live bears it is for me. I can't see them. And especially Kelly's fish, they have like the smallest eggs. It stresses me out. I'm like, they're not breeding at all. And then I took the fish out of the tank, and then we had babies, and I was like, oh, cool. They are breeding. I just can't see them. And like, I don't have vision problems up close. So that drives me crazy. We had, what is it? Pseudomagills have really tiny eggs too.
I was going to get rid of one of the mops outside that's in one of the muck bucket ponds, since I was going through them and totally making sure everything was good before the winter on all of them. I was like, I really don't like having these artificial mops, and I went to get rid of it, and there was a rice fish egg in it, so it's still there.
Nano Aquarium Guy member for 28 months. Thank you so much. Oh, it says, good night. Looking forward to seeing you guys this weekend. Oh, nice. Can't wait to see you. I didn't know you were coming. If you did say it, I'm sorry. I'm very forgetful these days.
Super excited to see you, man.
Yes.
And we missed you. We missed you at the Coral Springs Expo. So also,
hopefully that will be a great thing for us next year.
If anybody is going to be in Daytona on Thursday around noon, we do need help setting up the shrimp contest still. Nobody has been able to offer help on that day. A lot of people have offered on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Not a lot, but more people than on Thursday. Nobody has on Thursday. So we're still looking for somebody to help us out. Volunteering for 4 hours will get you free VIP tickets into Aquashella.
And then Hagen held the sign said, same here, Grant, with the daughter.
Yeah. She's a daddy's girl already,
Get
I can tell.
Here.
Shelby admitted it today, so I felt like it was safe to say.
It hurts. I already lost my first daughter to him. I'll lose this one too. My son is definitely all mine, though. Mama's boy.
I disagree.
All mine.
It's an act.
All mine.
I think I already talked about the rabbit snails. Oh, all right. So the last thing I got to say about doing this is don't be deterred if you don't go from, hey, this is a full-time gig right away. It's all right to do it a couple years and then go from working somewhere full-time, stepping down to part-time, like what Shelby just did recently. And then after about a year of doing it just part-time, she was able to step down altogether. Now she has a whole new job, but it's a dream job. It's not something that she had to do in order for us to pay the bills. It's something that where as soon as this doesn't work out or makes sense for her and she's not happy with it, she can stop. But maybe in 40 years she's still doing it because she loves it, but that choice will be hers, and we have the shrimp to fall back on, and she doesn't want to do it.
The cool thing about my new job is that it has different categories. It's not just doing aquascaping, rocks, and wood. I'm also doing reptiles and also fishing bait, which is just cool to tie in everything that we do. Like my daughter will go back into doing reptiles. She has begged me we have to get these chameleon cages set up by Christmas because she keeps talking about it, and we've had them there for quite some time, and it's probably just rubbing it in her face.
You do know that the show that we're going to next month, in December, is like mostly reptile show. Yeah. So whatever we don't have, I'll arrange with ZoomEd, and maybe we can scape a tank for them and get whatever we don't have for the tank for her.
Yeah. We have a Schefflera tree out front that we had started a long time ago for one of our chameleons, and we just didn't have them anymore. And you are uncomfortable, aren't you? I know. It has grown so big, it's like taking over the garden. And Layla, I took pictures of it the other day, and she's like, "What is that?" And I was like, "That's for your chameleons." And she's like, "Whoa." I was like, "Yeah, we're going to have to really douse it and clean it up and make sure it's good before we put it in if we are going to use it." But the thing's astronomically huge now. So it's really cool to be able to keep that. Laura said, "Did you pick up those orange-eyed red devils from Josh?" I'm sure you did. Looking forward to picking up its tanks this weekend. Did we get any orange-eyed red devils from him? Yes, we did get some, didn't we? The orange-eyed red devils from Josh Mimic Nature.
Yeah, but I don't think we got all of them. There's definitely got to be some still left in the aquarium.
Yeah. Yeah, we can't pass those up. I love orange-eyed red devils. They're like one of my favorite of the Caridina for sure. They're just really neat looking. If I could get like one of our tanks is so like light, I would just want them to get darker, so we'll have to work on that. Ashley said, "Hey everyone, been a long time, and I'm catching the end of the stream. Thanks for joining us, Ashley. I can't wait to see you this weekend." She's one to help us volunteer, so super excited. I definitely need help this year. I'm usually pretty stubborn, and I don't take the help. I usually just like the company when someone just kind of like comes around, but this year I definitely need the help with the baby, so. Back to you.
I don't have anything else. It's all live chat from here on out. If anybody would like us to bring something special for them to Aquashella, pre-sales must be placed by tomorrow night. Otherwise, we won't have time to get it ready. Everything will be packed Wednesday for the show. We leave early on Thursday to get there to set up. So, Jesse said timing on this topic is perfect. Not just you, but there's several other people here in chat that were asking me questions. I noticed Bugsley was in chat, and we got a few questions from a couple of our club members also. There's couple of them that were wanting to do pretty much exactly what I'm doing, and I'm like, well, we're in the same area, we're in the Sun Club. If you're looking for local sales and stuff like that, everybody already has my shrimp. Like, you want to try and do something different. I pointed out, like, there's almost nobody that does live bearers at all these shows. Like, there might be one person that goes to this show or one person that goes to that show, but there's not like a traveling guy that does guppies at all the shows. There's not one that does killies. Like, there's a lot of niche markets out there to be taken still in the hobby.
And have a good night, Tank Girl. Can't wait to meet you this weekend. Ashley said, "I'll be there." Worked me to death. Might be that way this year. Just I don't know if you're able to come Thursday, because Thursday is the day we actually set up all the tanks, and that's the craziest amount of setup. And because we have to go back all the way home, which usually, like, to me, like, Orlando wouldn't have been that bad. I guess it's not that bad. It's 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 40 minutes. So it is a little bit of driving to go all the way back, but it is Halloween. There's absolutely no way we're going to go to a random place. Like, Daytona's cool, but, like, I just don't know anywhere that would be good enough, because, like, where we're at is not safe. Like, we'd be by the Strip. It's just not a good place. But the we have to come all the way back home to actually know good spots to go trick-or-treating. So we'll definitely need some help on that setup day, because I'm going to need someone to probably pick up where I left off, because we can only get our pallet at a certain time and start setting up. So to get back on time to actually trick-or-treat good. But we are taking them tomorrow for trunk-or-treat. So even if we are a little late trick-or-treating, you know, they don't need 500 pounds of candy. They should be fine. So, and then...
But we don't have a time limit on trick-or-treating. So
it's just getting back before all the candy's gone. Because people start trick-or-treating at 5 o'clock here. And it's still hot. I'm like, can you guys wait till the sun goes down? Because us parents do not want to be out there sweating, okay? But those people get there too early. But yeah, we'll just probably eventually go to the heavier places and then probably drive them around like we did last time. But people didn't even answer their door because they were out of candy. So that's the only thing I'm worried about. Scotty says, I got my first PRL babies today. Got parents from LJ.
Congratulations.
Nice. Awesome. Pagan Hill Design says, this is good advice for not just shrimp, but anyone who wants to start their own biz. Thank you.
That's why I kind of like try to gear it around everything and not just talk about the shrimp, but the aquarium hobby as a whole.
Jesse said, I'd like to bring lines of your shrimp to the north. I'm going for the wild type live bears right now and newts coming in a few weeks. Nice.
Yeah, definitely excited to see that too. Your room's coming a long way, man. It's looking good.
Ashley said, I definitely wouldn't trick or treat on that strip. Just let me know a time and I can come Thursday too.
Awesome. Well, we need you right at 11 o'clock. Maybe not 11, probably like 12.
Probably like 1.
No, 12.
Get the pallet out.
No, our pallet should be ready for us at 11. Okay. That's why they don't want us there earlier than 11, is because we'll just be sitting there with nothing to do. So between 8 and 11 o'clock, they tape off everything and they get the pallets out. But, I mean, if you're there right at 11, you might be waiting. If you're there at 12, we'll probably have something for you to do at least.
Jason says, have you guys kept, I'm assuming you just mean Opa'ula.
No, there's the ones with the claws. I can't remember the
Alpha Opa'ula.
I can't remember the rubrar maybe. I can't remember the scientific name for them. But no, I've never seen them available.
Large claws. It's a more rare. No, that's crazy.
Yeah, but I heard about them. They were like a thing, and a bunch
eBay.
of. They're on eBay right now.
Richard's not even here anymore, but like, there's rare things on eBay that like I would only be able to get them from eBay. But those just look like regular Opa'ula shrimp. Now they're a little bit bigger.
They do look like they have little front claws, but I need to look at mine.
And from what got shrimp? Boots and Cat says, I wish I could trick or treat in warm weather. Halloween is always cold and pouring rain in Oregon. Yeah, the rain would be annoying, but the heat is not fun. Remember, most costumes are from head to toe, and most of them are thick, or you got the inflatables. Like, it is extremely hard to find, besides for women. Obviously, they're barely wearing anything. But, like, for all the other people, like, it is just miserable on Halloween because you're out there, you're walking for a long time, and it's like 90 degrees and you're sweating. It is not pleasant. Like everyone wants that, good like 70, 60. I would even take 50s on Halloween night, that's for sure.
Not raining though.
Yeah, rain. No one would want it not raining. Cold and raining sounds miserable. Halo Caridina rubra. Is that what it was? Yeah, that's what it is.
But that's maybe there's the normal ones.
Yeah, I think that's just the normal ones.
I think so.
Ash just said one of the fish stores in Myrtle Beach just closed down. I would have loved to take it over and keep the hobby going, but just not the right time for me. And she said 12 it is. I'll be there. Sounds perfect.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I would go to the American Shrimp Contest.com.
She's already signed up.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
She was the first one to sign up. I told you. Yeah.
I knew that. I knew that.
Hello, Stephen P. But yeah, there's been a lot of pet stores we wish we could have took over. There was one area. There's, how many buildings we have empty that are for lease, and I go to Grant. These are perfect. I want this. I want this building right here. Perfect location. I'm like, it's perfect, but it just sucks because there's so much overhead costs that really aquarium stores can't make it. There's certain areas that they could do well and certain size stores, but you got to think about how expensive the rent is for some of these locations now, that it's just easier for them to do it online than it is to open up a store. That's what stops us all the time, is because it's just not worth the extra $1,000 a month. And that's for like the smallest place for us. And that wouldn't, we wouldn't be able to really put the product we can in there that would make us the most amount of money. That would be worth opening up a pet store and running the day to day. Because working with the public is just, I've already done it for years now. It is not the best. It's very stressful. And it's just an argument every time you want to tell them something. So people will argue till they're blue in the face if they can put an Oscar in a 10-gallon tank. I promise you. So. And
we get this a lot on whether or not we're going to open up a live or a local pet store or anything like that at all. And I recently was talking to Ryan about this, and Ryan quoted Corey. This isn't straight from Corey, so I might butcher this with a little telephone or whatever you want to call it. But he said that Corey said it best. Like, you don't want to just put a pet store where one failed and went out of business, where there's like only one or two pet stores in an area. You don't want to start a pet store there. You want to start a pet store in an area where there's already 5 thriving pet stores, because all you really have to do is be top 4. Because if there's already enough demand in that area for 5 pet stores, well, if you're the top 4, one of those bottom 2 are going to fall off, but you'll probably do well and succeed.
That sounds awful.
But it makes sense. Yeah. So
that's why we have so many like Lowe's across from Home Depot. It's just so weird how things happen like that.
Competition drives the market. So
yeah.
If you have a Walgreens across the street from a CVS, chances are people are just lazy and they're going to pick off whichever one is on the right-hand side of the road for them. So, and
unfortunately, the thing that we would be doing, this is just the trend of, especially working retail for so long, talking to a lot of people in the business, CEOs, to everything. She's asleep, so you're going to steal her back?
Yep. I said she behaved so nicely for me. I don't know why. Yeah.
Is that the retail side is really dying off. Like, I worked many years in retail, and you can see it's obviously a lot to do with the economy right now. But it's a lot more than that with the online buying, because people like the convenience of being able to get it in a day or two. And a lot of the new retail businesses are now becoming like warehouse fronts, where they're just going to be supplies. It won't be all these fancy stuff you walk into. So like say a fish store, they would be better off like something we would be doing where we're building a big warehouse, and maybe we'd have like a pickup area where you can come and kind of get your stuff, but it wouldn't be like something you come and look at and like pick out and I scoop it out of the tank. It would be more like, here's a little storefront, you can come pick up your order today kind of thing. And that would make it a lot better for more people, is to have their own like warehouse and not a retail location, because those are just going to cost too much overhead costs when you already have to have, if you are to grow, the more employees, the more insurance you need for other things because of the risk of other people coming into the building where you have to just pay your employees already, because employees are getting paid so much. I could probably talk your ears off about retail and the things that are going to not be a thing anymore. You know, like Amazon is definitely going to take over eventually. They're going to have their own buildings where you just go pick up your orders there too. It's going to happen. It's just taking its time. Them robots are going to be everywhere too. It's going to be faster than we think, especially you think about like cell phones and how fast technology like advanced between our ages and like what I grew up with from our parents. And it's insane. Her little feet are coming out. They're so cute. I'd hate to say it, but those robots are going to take over. She is wide awake now.
I know.
Jason says that eBay person is pretty reputable from what I've heard. The only problem is I don't know, like we like homebred, we don't import, so we'd have to know the person. So we could always contact the seller.
It's also an Opaula though, so if I have a brackish tank set up, they're not going to cross-contaminate anything else. So they'll never get the water change until there's 1,000 of them. Did I even take a photo of our Opaula tank today or not? I showed you it. I just don't think I took a photo. There's probably like 1,000 of them. Not even exaggerating on the glass today. I did not take a photo.
Zen. Welcome in, Zen said, can I pet that baby? No touchy. Bottom of the chat with Mike B. Hi, Grant and Shelby. I still have the $100 we found from Aquashell in Chicago that you hid. I plan to use it any day now. Awesome. I will be doing another one at this Aquashell.
Yeah, just message us at thegardenofeater@gmail.com. I thought you guys were going to be at the Keystone Clash. Missed you. But yeah, I knew you guys still had it.
Boots and Cat said, so build my store across from the street from the wet spot. You live near the wet spot? That's funny. If you have all homebred stuff, you might have a chance, because if they can't find it there, they'll go find it there. That's the thing about Lowe's and Home Depot. And like my I'll refer this to a small town I lived in, and we had Home Depot and my uncle's hardware store. And you would think when Home Depot got built in this tiny 1 mile of a town that my uncle's hardware store would go out of business, but it didn't, because he would keep specialty things. And if you couldn't find it at Home Depot, you could find it at my uncle's store, and that thrived for years. It's still open today. And it's just like, that's exactly what it is. You could have like the same common things, but you just have like that one little thing someone's looking for. Like, oh, they might be out of Java ferns at the wet spot and they really are looking for them. They'll go across the street just to see if you have some. It will happen like that, and you'll make money. And it actually helps that you're across the street from something and not 10 miles away, because you're right there. We have a Lowe's and a Home Depot that share a parking lot. That's crazy. That's cool. And you got CVS and Walgreens is another good. You have inside of Walgreens? What? But yeah, that's another good example. I'd love to open an aquascaping gallery one day. Yes, those are cool. We're just seeing there's like, where is that? The giant, it's like a cafe.
Korea.
Like, it's so astronomical. Like it's just a dream.
You got to buy a drink in
Uh,
order to be able to go in.
that's fine. I would buy
Yeah.
a drink, but it's
They're not
incredible.
selling
It's
like
like a
tickets,
zoo.
or they're not selling any aquarium fish. It's
Yeah.
just, hey, if you want to enjoy the aquariums, you at least got to buy one of our drinks.
Load, you know?
It's a cafe.
And it's really cool. Fish and shrimp delivered by drones. That would be
And
funny.
if you're not following us on Facebook and Instagram, you're going to want to, because we're going to have a really funny post for for Halloween this year.
Ashley said I was surprised that there wasn't an Amazon warehouse close to Myrtle Beach. Yeah, they're building up everywhere. We have one that's pretty close to us, so it's crazy how like certain things I'll order from Amazon will literally be at my house within 4 hours because we have a warehouse right here. Mike says we have a 7-Eleven across the street from a 7-Eleven. That's funny. That will happen. I think that's how Ace Hardware survives. Yes, Ace always has the weirdest things. I don't remember what we were looking for the other day, but like it was the first thing to pop up on like a shut-off valve for like bathrooms. Like that is like really common part, and it wasn't coming up on Home Depot. They were there, but like they weren't really coming up. Where like Ace Hardware had like 4 of them, and it was coming up, and I'm like,
And it's just like Napa. Napa doesn't exist. Napa wouldn't exist at all anymore if it wasn't for the fact that they have every O-ring and spark plug and every little knickknack for automobiles. Or
it's not just automobiles.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
They have the most marine stuff
for everything. Yeah. Otherwise, why would you go to a Napa? It's ancient. They haven't changed anything ever. When they have like O'Reilly's popping up left and right.
Right.
But
it's hilarious. Well, anyone that would come into my work when I worked in the West Marine, if we didn't have a boat part, I would tell them Napa, because Napa has like the weirdest boat parts ever. And like most of the time those people would find it. It's so weird. Mike said, I wanted to go to the Clash, but I used all my time off hours in Chicago and have to save up again. Oh, no. Yep. I've been there. Boots and Cats, we have a Starbucks this year. It's a parking lot with another Starbucks.
Starbucks
They're
is
everywhere.
Both of them are right next door to McDonald's. Not McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, really.
We have a Starbucks right there, and then we have a Starbucks in Target, which they both do incredibly well.
But even the other Dunkin' Donuts has a Starbucks. We drive through the Starbucks parking lot to get shortcut to Dunkin'.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, that's prime examples of being across from your competitors usually helps out. It's so weird that happens. But our paint, for our stands is a good example. We used to get it at Home Depot all the time, but it's hard to find, and it's just in the gallon cans.
It wasn't hard to find, but when COVID happened, they had logistics issues, and there was no oil paint for any of Breyers, so we had to figure out a different brand. And Rust-Oleum that was only sold at Home Depot or at Lowe's was across the street, so we were able to get it.
She is so goofy with her feet. She loves to kick them out of the blanket, and she just pushes her legs straight as she can be. Like, you could tell. I have a picture of her in the womb too, where she's like all stretched out, her hands are all up, and it makes sense now. She's beating me up in there with those legs. We never put on our costumes.
No, go do it now.
It was too hot. It's too hot.
It's too hot. No, I promise that you got to do it. Go. I hold the baby. You go, and then we'll trade off. I got 15 minutes left. Well, a little more. But if anybody would like ocean blue Neocaridina shrimp, they are $6 a piece. We have them available if you email us at thegardenofeater@gmail.com. I've also got the Hollow Eye, the Hollow Eye Red Ghost. Those are $10 a piece. Those are very limited in quantity, but I figured since it is Halloween, that I will be best to sell them around this time of the year, so people can enjoy them. And then I'll be posting Halloween themed shrimp basically all week. So Obviously, we did zebra ghost bees today, and then we've got some other spooky varieties of shrimp to share throughout the week until Halloween, and then throughout Aquashella. So I'm sure there'll be some really neat displays from Aquashella. Also, usually because it's this close to Halloween, there'll be a few tables and vendors and booths that will have some Halloween decorations out as well.
Can't believe you made me put this on. It's so hot. It's like a tundra.
Turn the fan
here.
up.
It is up.
That's not all the way up. I'm telling you right now, it would have been for a reason. What if she just started crying because she didn't recognize you?
No, she ain't even paying attention. This is too much. I'm glad they still fit, even though gaining all this weight after the baby. These things are, I can't even see. It's great. Solid. Can I do an IOU? Love it. The blue changed color, Grant, here in the rust print during COVID. What? Thank you. Yeah, I enjoy them. They're very, very hot, though, in Florida. Last year, we tried to wear them out trick-or-treating. I think I was the only one. Grant was like, I'm definitely not doing it. Within, like, didn't even bring it with him. I brought it with me, and probably within 3 minutes, it was off. So Jenna said, did you say if baby Myra has a Halloween costume? So fun fact, baby costumes are extremely hard to find. So I did end up getting her one costume. It does not fit very well, but she's going to be a bunny for Halloween. But we have to improvise on it because it does not fit. Where I don't have time to make costumes this year. I think when Layla was real young, she was able to fit her first costume because she was 3 months old. So they have like 3-month-old costumes. They don't have newborn, and she is newborn still. Her outfit she actually has on is a 3-month, which I'm very surprised it somewhat fits. But it was the only one, and it was funny because I have like our whole registry had a lot of bunny stuff, and I was like, you know what, I love bunnies, and like my first stuffed animal was a bunny, so I thought it was so cute. So, woo, very hot. You're ridiculous. Okay.
I should have gone slower.
Yeah, you went too
I
far.
missed
That
the
was
opportunity.
That was speedy.
It was
speedy. I think you said going to Aquashella, is the venue in the hotel?
No. The venue is like a actual convention hall. And then the hotel for the venue is a little bit down the street if it's the same one from last year.
Jenna said Lillian was a bunny for her first Halloween too. Aww. Yeah, she's gonna be so cute. I don't know how well we're gonna get pictures because she doesn't move. I actually did find like someone did this like penguin outfit for newborn photos, and I was like, I wish I had that. That thing is so cute.
Find it on Amazon. It'll be here by Halloween.
Maybe. That's what I did. I went through Amazon and tried to find newborn Halloween costumes, and there was like nothing but like a onesie with little wings on her back. And I have wings and a tutu she could put on. That her grandma, I almost said tutu. That's what you call grandma in Hawaii. And she got that, but I just wanted something different. Is there a shrimp you guys have been looking for but haven't found yet?
I would love any of the wild type shrimp that used to be in the hobby that are no longer here. The galaxy tigers, the leopard tigers, I would take some Trifasciata. I would take some Bobolti of a different line than mine. Did I say Bobolti right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I used to say Babelotti, and it's
Yeah.
not. It's Bobolti. But yeah, just some of the rare live. Wow, I almost said live bears. Some of the rare wild type shrimp would be ideal, and then any of the Sulawesi shrimp that we don't have.
And that's no, that's not what I was trying to say. Speedy the sloth, I like it. Boots and Cat says Amelia was a flamingo for her first Halloween. Super jealous because that's what I was looking for because of her legs. I just think she's absolutely so cute. And I was like, a flamingo would be perfect for her with her little legs stretched out. But I couldn't find anything that was her size. But the funnier thing I said, we missed the point this year, but I said that Grant should have went as a hammer and I went as a rock and then she went as a little rock just for an aquascaping costume. Would have been funny. Yeah. Do you not think that was funny? Oh, someone's getting hungry again. Yeah, she's looking at me funny though.
We're almost done.
That's funny. My newborn is going as a pea pod, and I'm going as a princess. He'll be swimming in it, but it don't matter because it's a zipped up sack. So we saw that. My son thought it was the cutest thing. I did think those are cute. Oh. Stephen, because Grant crushes mother and child. No, that he just had to have more of me, so he broke a piece off and had a baby. Sorry. Grant was even say we should just buy a stuffed animal and it would have fit on her and just cut it out. Would have been a good costume too. Jenna said they should do more Aquashalloweens. It seemed like a fun idea. See, I absolutely disagree. I like that it's on Halloween, but it also sucks for the kids because like they want to do traditional trick-or-treating. It's fun for like a little bit, but like the fact that we're in like an area, I know I'm burning up, you're burning up, that we're not in the right area and we have nowhere to go. That's the only thing that sucks. They did get quite a bit that year. That
they got a lot of candy, but that was because like Jeremy from Aqua FX kept going around and handing them like entire bags of the nerd, not the nerd ropes, but the little nerd balls, the gummy balls.
Those things are so good.
But like, yeah, they were getting like the clusters. They weren't getting like small bags of candy at Aquashella. All the vendors, all of our friends, just kept giving them wads of candy. So they did. They got a massive amount of candy, but. They definitely enjoyed trick or treating more than the Aquashella. So, yeah,
they weren't upset with it. They just like, the tradition of running around. And she said, "Why is the sloth holding me? And where's my mom? Where's my mom?" Yeah,
I'll take her. I got her.
Hey. As Steven said, Aquashella Christmas would make some even sadder kids. Yeah, they would be done. They would absolutely not.
Yeah, I would honestly skip that one.
Yeah. No.
Halloween up until Aquashelloween was like a total bust for us because there's only like one neighborhood that really participated, and all of the kids got there super early. So if you weren't there at 5:30 and you got there at 6, all the candy was pretty much gone. So we felt like Aquashelloween wasn't that bad, but now we have like a really good spot. I'm not worried about the car getting towed or anything like that. Now watch, our car gets towed, and then how do we get to Aquashella? All right. We'll take the truck to trick or treat.
No, it won't get towed. That's like the one night I think tow truck drivers are like, all right, you get a pass, or they might ask for some candy. Beauty in the Bud said, cutting a stuffed animal is genius, Grant. I told you she's done. We only have 5 minutes left.
When did I say that? Or did you
What?
mention that I said?
I mentioned that
Oh,
you
yeah.
said it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work too.
We've got a lot of stuffed animals though. Just bring her up, match her up to stuffed animal after stuffed animal, and then pick
There's
the
an
one
alligator
the
one that
best,
she could probably
the
fit
best
in.
size, right? Right. I don't know. I'm excited. Like I mentioned, if you don't follow us on Facebook and Instagram, at least one of those, follow us because I do have something really clever and planned for Halloween. Shelby thought it was a great idea, and we kind of pieced together how we were going to do it at Home Depot today. Ended up not buying anything from Home Depot, but yeah, I do think they're going at it again.
In the hole of the wood though, like why? Like it's like the most inconvenient. There's a whole like left side of the tank that doesn't have anything in the way, and
they want their privacy.
Yeah, apparently.
They don't like all the other
right
fish looking at them. They don't know us. We're a sloth.
Boots and Cash. I think we need a Clash Halloween, even though it's in September. Not a bad idea. That would be funny. Like everyone dress up in like fish related costumes. That would be great. I would enjoy that.
I mean, that's how Aqua
They
Halloween
should do
was.
it the weekend before Halloween, but still let vendors pass out candy and let people dress up. Then it wouldn't interfere. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that would be great. That
just like a trunk or treat.
This is why the Keystone Clash has you on the board.
Right, because it's just like that's why it's really stressful again this week. Like I didn't even notice it all year till it was coming up, and I'm like, great, we're supposed to be in Daytona, have to set everything up, and then find a way to get the kids off the bus and not have them miss school because they're already missing school Friday to go to this trip because I want them to enjoy Aquashella because they usually get to enjoy one a year, and if we have it in Florida, that's great, you know. And it's easier for us, and they get to go to a beach. We don't get to go to a beach very often here. We have like a beach, but it's a man-made beach, so it's not a beach at all. And so it's nice to be able to take them to this one where it's an actual beach and they'll get to enjoy the water and everything. So I don't know what the point of that was.
They're just bringing the kids, and we need to make sure that we made it back.
It's so much work to get back.
I said earlier, we kind of weren't going to be able to make everything to the trip with all the kids in the car. We wouldn't have had room for all the tanks. We would have had to buy a wrap. Oh my god, a roof rack or put a hitch on the car to bring like a little trailer or something for the dry goods to go on.
Mm-hmm. Carrie said, been in and out this whole time as I'm building my business, selling fish and shrimp, caught back up, and damn, y'all are dogs? What just happened? Love you. Sloths. It's a sloth. I guess it could look like a dog. That's some ugly dog.
Flip it upside down and look like a pug almost.
You're right. Hey, leave my pugs alone. They're not that ugly. These are very slow dogs. Yes. Grant is allergic to sloths. Spaghetti Nona says, thanks, Shelby. Enjoy and safe travels. Thank you. Have a good night. Oh, you sneezed. That's why. I was like, why would she say that? That took me way too long. These costumes have been in a bin, so it could have a little dust on them.
You know, if we did get a really strong cold front for Halloween, I would probably wear this.
Yeah,
but
that would be nice.
It's never
like
gonna be that cold.
It's been a long time. When I actually back in high school was the last time it was like that cold on Halloween night. I thought it was the funniest thing. It sucked because it lined up perfect with my costume idea, but failed on the fact that I was wearing a skirt and a corset, so it was very cold, but I was a frozen angel. So I was like, well, it worked out because I am frozen right now. I'm freezing to death. But it was like, I think it was like 50 degrees that night, and I was like, it's the coldest night, and I wish I had like a bear costume that night. Carrie said, hey guys, what threat do scuds pose to shrimp? My shrimp tanks are my fry grow out tanks. Thanks.
So when the scuds will give birth, the females will actually crave protein, and they will go after some of the baby shrimp. So it's not like detrimental to the shrimp colony, but if people are trying to breed shrimp for profit and they're breeding like galaxy pintos and there's scuds in the tank, you probably want to get them out of the aquarium. If there's already fish in the tank, you got to think maybe they're eating the scuds rather than the baby shrimp, so maybe it's a win. It's a video on scuds are not shrimp safe on our channel, where I go into more depth about it, and you can decide on whether or not you want to remove them out of your tank or not.
Have a good night, Beauty and the Buds. Thanks for joining us. I find it so funny that Noel is proofreading college application essays for youngest due in 3 days. Not stressful at all. I find this hilarious because I'm a very big procrastinator and would literally the night before something was due, do it and stress my parents out. And now my children are that way. And I'm like, pure karma, pure karma. At least you have 3 days. Not fun, but it's so funny. Hopefully it goes well, though. She's like, I'm done.
And just so everybody knows, I just think when she's in my arms, she knows there's nothing going to be better than this pacifier. But when she's in Shelby's arms, she knows she's going to get fed. So that's the only reason why I think she behaves for me a little bit better.
Bugsy said, you just checked, just checked my tank and found the first baby in the tank. Excited. Awesome.
Congratulations.
We all love that. That's so rewarding. That's the whole thing about this hobby is dim feet. Sorry. Flamingo. Anyways, Stephen P says, no, the only true way to perform at your best is when the consequences are dire and time has run out. You know what? I did do really good. Sometimes my projects that I spent more time on actually sucked more than the ones that I would do at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Zen kid, Mom, I have this paper due. Mom, when? Tomorrow morning. Story of my life. Yeah. My kids, it's the projects with my kids. Like, so all year, like I just thankfully, my son's in middle school. His teachers send out like emails of like, this is coming up, this is due. So I try to remind the kids, you got a project due, you have a project you're supposed to be working on. And I love how my son's usually like, no. And I pull it up and he's like, oh, yeah, about that. Oh, man. That's crazy. Yeah, I do my best work at last minute.
Well, that's going to be it for this live stream, everybody. Hopefully, you all have a safe and fun Halloween. And we will see you guys next week with a full update on the American Shrimp Contest and Aquashella. Till next time, see ya.